In our current version, we have made changes to our production module, ensuring that you can produce recipes either by entering unit quantity amounts or instructing the module to produce by the batch. This enables you to no longer be required to break a recipe down to the unit and entering those ingredients quantities, but rather you can enter a recipe yielding a batch amount. Then if you still feel like producing a few units rather than the full recipes, you could still do so, and the system will work out the ingredient quantity requirements for you. Let's see how this will work in our production module. In Pilot Admin, select Production. Before we start producing, let's take a look at our production sheet first. The first block indicates the recipe item name created. We can see where this item is being controlled daily in this column, and right next to it we can also see the unit that it is counted in. We also have our opening back stock column and our opening front stock column. At the moment, since we just created this recipe, there is no stock in either the back nor the front. Now let's create both recipes by producing a few units for our one recipe and producing a batch for the other. Let's produce the chicken wings first. Click on the Estimate Unit block and instruct the system how many units you want to produce. We will produce 24. Then press Enter. See how the system matches this exact amount in your recipe estimation column, since your recipe setup indicated a singular unit production. Now let's create our double batch of barbecue sauce. Enter in the Estimate Recipe column the amount of batches you want to create. We will produce a double batch. Thus, you can punch the number 2 and press Enter. Notice how the system breaks down and autofills the amount of units you will receive from a double batch. Now we want the system to indicate to us what we need to issue to create these recipes at our requested units. Click on Print to see the available options. If you want to see what you need to issue and use per recipe, select Print and then All Items. This report will split the recipes apart when choosing to produce multiple recipes, and you can use this as your physical issue sheet in the kitchen to confirm what was given and if the front stock was used. If not, indicate to the system that you used front stock by ticking the box in the production details. The system will always revert back to using backstock counts. If you just want a list of total ingredients to issue, no matter the recipe, you can print ingredient summary only and use that sheet as your issue sheet. You can also choose to only print individual recipes if so needed. And lastly, you have the option to print a costing report. However, we will return to this after we produce our recipes. Now click Cancel and punch and confirm the total produced for your barbecue sauce in the recipe produced. Punch Enter afterwards. The system will then take you into the production details for our barbecue sauce. Take note that the system automatically copied over the estimation recipes per ingredient and auto-filled it in the quantity used blocks. You can still edit and change these quantities by selecting an ingredient and by clicking and changing it in the quantity block. If you used front stock, you can indicate it here by clicking the front stock block. Note, no boxes for front stock will display if you are using back stock items in your recipe. If your recipe contains stock which you carry back and front stock of, and you have front stock available, the system would have allowed you to indicate this by ticking a box. This is, however, not the case for our barbecue recipe. Click OK when done. And as you can see, the system will prompt you to change your unit cost if any changes has occurred. If this is the first time that you have created this recipe, you would need to update it to its current accurate costing. If you've made any changes to the recipe, you would also be required to update and change the unit cost. Select Yes to change it. Now we can return to our print button and select our costing report to review our costings and to save and print this report if needed. Select Close to close this report, and if required, we can now also continue to produce our chicken wings. When done, select Back and update your unit cost per portion. And this concludes our production setup and usage.